had a comment that came in, and I said, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times. But somebody wrote a wonderful comment in that I want to share with you. My son is learning to limit his preferred topic statements/comments to 4 when speaking to others. We give him a rule: when you are talking to others, tell them 4 things about your cool item activity. If they like what you're talking about, they will ask you a question or say something about your cool item or activity. Then you can tell them more. If they do not ask or say something about your cool item or activity, then you can ask them about something else. Okay, so, and she goes on to say, okay, so the progress I have seen was 3 weeks ago. My younger brother came out to visit, and he told me that my son only told him the 4 things about his preferred topic and only kept talking when he asked him about it. Yay! Several times this week, my son has told me, oh yeah, I only have to say 4 things about it, right, Mom? Yay, he is recognizing what he's doing now, and it's so exciting. It's a wonderful thing, because here's a perfect example of something that you go, well, duh, right? Because how many of us are walking through the world and going, oh, my child, he's struggling, he or she is struggling to make friends. And part of the reason, it's by no means the whole reason, but one little piece of the puzzle is that when my child gets into a conversation, that they yakety endlessly about the thing that they're interested in, right? Bless their hearts. But it's something that our kids can be prone to doing. And a lot of times we can go, oh, it's so frustrating that they do that. But here's an example of a very simple putting in a rule and saying, okay, you're allowed to say 4 things. And then you have to check and see if the person is asking more questions or showing interest. And if they are, you can say 4 more things. But the rule is, if you've said 4 things and they're not asking, then you need to ask about something else. And this is a perfect example of how ABA works. And in the beginning, the child just has a rule, right? They have the rule. You get to say 4 things, which is very reinforcing, by the way, to the child, because it's their preferred topic, right? And when that's over, you need to be checking to see, did they ask a question? If they don't, it's time for you to ask them something about another topic, right? And clearly, the child is understanding and complying with the rule, and being very reinforced by it, to the point where he's starting to catch himself now without prompting, going, oh, yeah, no, I only get to say 4 things. But he's finding it reinforcing that he gets to say 4 things, and so we're seeing progress. And how many other things can we do? And not taking on the whole thing, right? Just taking on one little element of it, saying you get to say 4 things, and maybe down the road they're going to say, well, no, you can say 5 things, or no, now we're moving it to 3 things. I've shared before that we do this a little bit with my son, that he wants to talk about video games endlessly with me. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. So I will say to him, and sometimes it's 4 and sometimes it's 5, I'll go, okay, go. You got 4 or 5 things that you can tell me about, and then, then we're going to switch the topic. And it's so interesting to me that he goes, oh, okay. I give him a rule, and he goes, oh, all right. He's thrilled, because in the moment, his immediate gratification is he gets to tell me these 4 things about video games. And that's a big delight to him. And then he's satisfied when the 4 is over and it's time to move on to something else. And I usually try to make it something really interesting that we can move on to. But more and more, I'm having him drive that he has to bring up another topic. So wonderful. That's fabulous. And congratulations. And thank you for sharing with us, because it reminds me what I need to be doing at home, and hopefully it reminds many other people out there as well. It's so hard, because for some of us in the beginning, we so desperately want our kids to talk, right? We just, oh man, anything. We'll take anything at all. I've told you guys the story before about my friend who used to say to me, oh, Shannon, wait until your child says to you, I hate you, and goes up to his room and slams his door and says, I don't love you. You're just, it's just devastating. And I would always think, bless your heart, you just don't get it, do you? I'm going to jump up and down and wet my pants the day that my son says to me, I hate you, Mom, I don't love you, because my child wasn't even saying mommy at that point. And she meant well, right? She meant well. She didn't realize that it was just a nail in my heart to say, oh, wait till your child says this. But it was a terrible nail in my heart. But I said, when that day comes, and I would hold on to the idea that that day was coming. Okay, that day has come and gone. My son has said to me, I hate you. You're ruining my life. I don't love you. And he'll say things to me like, I love dad more. Dad's good and you're bad. Those kinds of things, right? And I always sit there and say, you know what? I still love you, and that's okay. If you hate me today, I'm doing my job. But when our kids do talk, sometimes they will get into things and they will talk about something so incessantly and perseverate on something so incessantly that we get to the point where we go, oh, I just, I know I hoped and I prayed for language and I really want it, but now I need something a little bit different. I need for him to, or her to, be able to focus on more than one thing. That's not a bad thing. We get to forgive ourselves for that. And for those of you who are still fighting for the language, bless you and hang in there. All of our kids can get to the point where they can functionally communicate, and a lot of our kids can get to the point where they talk. So please know that our thoughts and our wishes are with you as you continue this fight, but it can happen. And if nothing else, being able to functionally communicate and know what your child wants and thinks and feels, and we can get there. We absolutely can get there.